Testing, testing.
Oh, Zero, is that not the best song? Ooh, happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday, Cap. Pleasure to have you here. I'm super excited for this space. How's your Sunday going?
Sunday's going excellent. Took my little girl to play some soccer, grilling some steaks this evening, and sandwiching that event with the first ZZC Auction featuring ENS Trading Post. So very excited.
Awesome, man. Great to hear. Great to hear. Yeah, I'm super excited too. Feels like it's been a little bit of a long time coming, but you know we've genuinely got some amazing names in this auction. I'm super excited to share what we've got, and you know we've got a full range of different names, but some real premium names starting off at low reserve. So yeah, it should be fun. We're going to try it out. You know, we're probably going to make a couple of mistakes today, but we're out here. We're going to do the best job we can, even though the world seems to be burning around us. We're going to put on a good show today. So yeah, Captain, super thankful for you to be here with me, and really looking forward to this space. Zero, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Our first auction, super excited. I know we have some subdomains that's going to be auctioned off as well. And I think and you're going to explain how we are going to bid on these subdomains since the wrapper is not out yet. But Post and Cap will explain to the whole crowd in the space how you can actually bid on subdomains. And when the wrapper is out, we will send that to the winner.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got some really fire subdomains today. We've got spider.web.eth, and we've got boss.email.eth, and we've got the fireheart emoji.email.eth, and these are starting off at $10 reserve in ETH, so you know, really low, and it's going to be interesting to see what these go for, because you know there's some real premium subdomains. So I'll tell you later on in the auction how you can bid on those. But basically we've registered 2 domains. Bid on this for spiderweb.eth and bid on this for fireheart email.eth. So I'll link those to you all later on so it's clear. But yeah, we're going to try something quite new and exciting today. If you see the link above, we're actually hosting this on YouTube Live as well. So if you've ever thought, what does Trading Post look like? Who's the person behind the Trading Post? If you want to jump on the live now, you know, it's going to be used to give us better visuals of the auction, and you know, it should be quite fun. So yeah, I'd urge anyone to click that link above, and let's get on the YouTube Live.
Real quick, it's the regular heart subdomain, not the fire heart. Regular red heart.
Apologies, my mistake. Regular heart emoji. We've got a request here. I'll bring you onto the stage. Yeah, my apologies on that one. Yeah, so we're starting to get a few more people in here now, and I really appreciate everyone turning up on a Sunday. If you'd like to do us a massive favour, and I don't ask this from you guys a lot, but if you could like and retweet this room out, you know, to help us spread the word, then I would genuinely really appreciate it. Let's try and get as many people here, because you know, we've put a lot of work into this, and we want people to know. So yeah, I'd appreciate that. And then 2 minutes and we'll get going.
Sounds good to me. And the names that we've been slowly adding in here to top off the auction names are outstanding and very reasonably priced. It's very cool, as Post mentioned, you know, as the world appears to possibly be crumbling around us, here we are on a Sunday trying to sell some names. So ENS has always been built different, even when the NFTs kind of bear market hit in September, October. That was when ENS was thriving and arriving. So we always keep pushing in ENS, and over at ZZC we've read the market and understand what's going on, and we're excited to bring you some excellent names for some pretty solid reserve prices.
1000%.
Absolutely. Also, post or cap, you want to explain to them what's going to happen after the auction ends at the last 30 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. So it's quite exciting. We've actually got it in 2 small segments. So there's one in the middle of the auction and one at the end. But anyone here, you don't have to have had your name entered for the auction. You'll have the chance to request to come up on stage and pitch your own name. You'll be given 30 seconds, and we'll run through a few pitches. And then the best value name that's less than 0.05 Ethereum, we're just going to buy as ZZC Group. So, if you've got a name there now that you're trying to sell, even if you've not got a name in the auction so far, you're going to have a chance to come up and pitch that name. So, yeah, stay tuned, and it should be quite fun. Awesome. How's everyone doing with the YouTube link? Does it seem to be okay? Are people on there? Give me a thumbs up if you're on the YouTube. Give me a thumbs down if you're just on the Twitter space. Okay. No problem. Thumbs down, some thumbs up, some thumbs down. Not many emojis. Awesome. Right, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I've put some visuals together as well. So if you come on the YouTube live, then you can follow along really with everything we're saying. But we're going to start it off. So essentially, how the auction's going to run is the names are listed. The names are on ENS Vision, and we're going to drive bids towards.
Your audio's a little bit funky on my end. Just it might be a bit.
No problem. Is it a bit quiet or a bit?
Whatever you just did now is better. So ready to go.
On the YouTube side, correct?
No, on the Spaces side.
Oh, apologies. Apologies for that.
That's okay. I see Flossing down there. He's been sharking these names. See Julio down there. Our brokers. Making sure you guys know what's going on with these domains, as well as Fry and John Cito. We're joined by Dev Extraordinaire, Satoshi.test account, and our Director of Ops, Ken 4 King. So got a good squad for a Sunday.
Oh, definitely. We've got some absolute legends in this chat, in this space. And yeah, Flossing and Fry, and everyone's been doing great work to push the word out. And everyone I look down here, Kev, Verse, 7994, Bruce, Work From Home, Evan. We've got some absolute legends in here. ENS Whale, Sky, Jimmy. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone turning up today. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get this auction started. So hopefully some people can see some of the visuals on the live. If not, then it's not the end of the world. I'll work that for next time. But so we've got basically 17 super names for you today. What's going to happen is the format of the auction is this show is really to kick the auction off. So we're going to be talking through some of the names. We're going to be, myself and Captain, we're going to be giving our points of view, why you'd want these names, and value for money in terms of some of these low reserves. And what we're going to do is, in 1 week's time, we're going to have a follow-up auction show where we are going to conclude the auction basically. So we're going to drive bids to those names this week, and if the reserves are met on ENS Vision. So if you'd like to place a bid on the name, all you have to do is go to ENS Vision, go to that name. I'll put links, but essentially it's the same, ENS Vision / the name, and you put a bid on there. And say if a name had a reserve of 1 Ethereum, if by the time we do the show next week, if that 1 Ethereum reserve's been met, then that name will be sold from the seller. So there is a small element of sort of trust between the seller But you know, we've got some reputable people in the space selling, and we think this is still a very good format to use. So yeah, should we get into the first name, Cap?
Let's rock and roll, baby.
Awesome. Let's do it. Yeah, so the first name that we've got for you today, I mean, of course, we've got to start off with a banger, right? Of course we do. The first name, of course we do. This is the first name that we've got is OFC.eth, and this is the common internet abbreviation for of course. So, you know, why would you even want this name? Well, for me, it's a strong digital identity in terms of being sort of a brandable Twitter alias. Like we've seen IMO, so for In My Opinion, sold to a punk in October of last year for 4.6 Ethereum, and this punk has since then he's just been non-stop using IMO at the start of all these tweets. So I definitely see this name being a brandable Twitter alias in the same regard. And yeah, this name starting at no reserve. So no reserve for this name, which I think is, you know, is crazy. So we're obviously going to run that up. It's got 5 months registration, so it's not like it's going from month to month. So you've got a good half a year on this name sort of left. And yeah, I mean, we've got all the statistics here. I mean, SDBot is rating this at a $300,000 domain for the .com equivalent. It's seeing sort of 360,000 broad searches a month with a cost per click of $1.05. So yeah, of course, I think this is a great ENS name with a lot of potential. And zero reserve, Captain. Can you believe that?
I actually can't. I think I'm literally swapping for some wrapped ETH right now, and I think I may be the first bidder on this one, just to kick things off. I mean, no reserve on a great 3-letter with multiple months remaining, even post the April, you know, expiration of most items that'll go beyond that into the summer. I mean, and you know, it's owned, of course, by one of our favorite accounts, anon.eth. So we're really happy to kick off this one, and I think it's going to do well. The zero reserve is just very exciting, and I think it's a great idea. I think it'll foster a lot of response.
Completely agree. And we've seen similar sales of IMO, like I just said, sold for 4.69, and then BT.
And IMO is one of my favorite Twitter accounts. I'm glad you brought that up. I love that he replies to everything with IMO and then his tweets. So there's really a chance here, like you said, to brand yourself accordingly.
Completely, it's absolute genius what he's done with his whole Twitter account. I absolutely love it. And even like BTW, by the way, that sold for 4.2 ETH in July as well. So you know what I mean. These are desirable terms. And yeah, I agree with you. Let's say this. The first person to bid on this name can be 0.01 or any bid. I'll send you an ENS name for free. So you're definitely not going to win at 0.01, but the first person to bid right now, DM me after this space, and I'll send you an ENS name from my collection for free. So yeah, I think that sort of wraps us up on OFC. We've got to keep going because we've got some absolute banger names. So without further ado, we'll proceed on to the next one.
Yeah, and I'll withhold bidding on OFC until I see someone else do it, just so I won't end up winning your domain. But I just got some wrapped ETH, so I'm ready to buy your domains, guys. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, awesome, Cap, awesome. So the next item that we've got on the auction list today is another community name. So this was entered by one of you guys, and it's statements.eth. So statements.eth. The reserve for this one starting at 0.5 Ethereum. I love this name. It's featured in the deals of the day a couple of times at higher prices. It was really high. The seller is PVT private, and I remember him having it over 1 Ethereum, and it was right up there on the top of the deals of the day because I really do like this name. One of the main reasons for me is I think there's so much potential with subdomains. You know, you've got bank.statements.eth, you've got taxstatements.eth, you've got financialstatements.eth, you've got mystatements.eth, captainstatements.eth, zero statements.eth, a company's name statements.eth. I think there's so many different types of statements that you've got so much like genuine like subdomains, not nonsense subdomains, but like genuine subdomains which make sense to come from that one. And then further, I think that there's lots of Web 2 type software and applications for different statements to help companies process their own statements and things like that. So I could also see someone coming in that's a builder in the Web3 space and wanting to get some of that market share and be building tools out that are related to digital statements. So one thing for me is I've always thought it's a good idea for companies to mint like digital documents onto the blockchain. So if there's certain documents that are really important to a company and you don't want these documents to be disputed and you want it to be in stone that it was sent on this date or this is the document, I think there's a massive hole in the market there for a company to come in and be minting important documents to the blockchain. And I think, is there a better name than statements.eth? Like, I don't think so. So yeah, I've got a few other points on this. It's a pre-punk, but yeah, Captain, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm just impressed that with the reserve price. I mean, it's a very it's a strong, aggressive move to sell. I mean, you mentioned documents earlier. I compare this to documents somewhat, and documents.eth. I mean, 8 months ago in the summer, but documents.eth sold for $2,500 USDC. USDC aside, that's a very good sale. So I think for statements.eth to come into the auction at 0.5 ETH reserve is just a very, very strong statement by the seller that he's ready to make a move.
I love that strong statement by the seller. I completely agree. I think there's not financial advice, of course, but I think there's room for profit there, even for a flipper. Even if this isn't an end buyer, I think there's definitely potential there. So yeah, it's a pre-punk. Monthly searches from Estibot we're saying 7 million monthly broad searches with a cost per click of $2.10. So really valuable in a Web 2 sense. But yeah, that sort of wraps it up on statements for me. I've got a couple of other points about with AI automation and things like that coming in. Are we going to see more statements type things being automated and that crossover with Web3 as well? But yeah, that sort of brings us round to the end of statements. So like Captain said, if you'd like to bid on this name, starting off at 0.5 Ethereum, there's going to be a following show next week. But yeah, let's see those bids come in because there's definitely room for a bit of profit there and a steal. So yeah, feel free to bid away on that one. We've got another banger next as well.
So post make sure it's clear that they can bid on it for the next 7 days as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so if it's not clear to anyone, there's a 7-day window now to bid on these names. So the auction isn't ending today. This is an introduction. This is the commencement of the auction. There's going to be 7 days now where you can bid on these names. Every day I'm going to do a sort of an auction report on what bids have happened and what's come in. But essentially 7 days, next week another show to conclude the auction. So the next one item number 3 on the auction list, and I think this is an absolute banger, is airline.eth. So airline.eth is the next item. Slightly higher reserve on this one, but completely understandably so, with the quality and caliber of the name. So this one's got a 3 ETH reserve. So 3 ETH, what's that, about $4,500, $5,000, something like that. And the US airline industry itself is worth way over $100 billion. That's just the US airline industry. So you look at the costs here of like being able to secure the ENS name for $5,000 or less, and you're targeting $1 billion industry. $100 billion industry. And for me, this has got somewhat of a bear.eth sort of thesis. So like with beer coming, with Budweiser coming in, and they bought beer.eth that we've all seen, and they were able to sort of brand themselves as being the product they sell. Budweiser have been able to brand themselves in a digital sense, in every way they're going to be interacted with in a digital way. They are beer. And, you know, I see the similar thing for airline. Obviously, you've got a lot of independent airline companies, but, you know, someone may come in and this is sort of a category killer of a name, and they might want to be airline. So yeah, this is a really strong name. I think it's got further applications with things like NFT ticketing and things like that. You know, people talking about tickets for different events and potentially flights and things like that could be minted on the blockchain. And yeah, what better identifying name than airline.eth. I've got some of the stats here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, Captain, on this one.
It's like you said, the beer.eth thesis, that's exactly correct. I mean, they could have Delta, they could have United, they could have all these other names, but the beer.eth thesis is great. And I think ENS community has responded well to that thesis. I think everyone loves the fact that Budweiser has beer.eth. I think it's a cool statement for that entire industry, and there's nothing stopping someone from doing the same with airline. So, and you pointed out the volume of wealth that exists in the airline industry. So I think that, you know, interesting to see if this ends up with another speculator or if this ends up with something closer to an end destination at some point.
Yeah, completely. And I think, you know, not financial advice, but when this does get to end buyer, like, I think you could be talking numbers seriously greater than 3 Ethereum. So yeah, I think there's definitely room for a flipper to make some profit there.
And that's what people are thinking for when they buy, right? I mean, everyone often too thinks of when they're selling something about getting it, you know, pricing it like it's going to the end buyer, but that's not always the case. And a lot of these names we're seeing, people are pricing knowing that it may go to someone who's eventually looking to make a profit on it. I like what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, completely. You can sell a name to another flipper and still give them room to profit. You know, ENS squatters, or however it should be coined. But yeah, I think that the seller's been more than generous here with trying to give someone a room to make profit. With 3 Ethereum for this name, like, truthfully, if this name had been 4 or 5 Ethereum, it would still probably have got in the auction, because I think it's just that high of a caliber name. So yeah, like Estibot, like the .com appraisal, this was like one of the highest appraisals of all the names. It's sort of $700,000 for this name in the .com supposedly. And yeah, it's just, the airline industry is just an absolute behemoth. So yeah, a very top quality name. And yeah, super exciting to have this one in the auction. So that brings us on to our next name. How's everyone doing so far? Are people just in the Twitter space? Are they following on with the live stream? Hopefully you can maybe see some visuals. We've got a really cool name next that I really like. This is lakehouse.eth, and I'll tell you why I like it so much in a minute. But yeah, so lakehouse.eth, and the reserve on this one is 0.79 Ethereum. So, you know, what is a lake house? Generally, it's a house sort of situated by a lake. And, you know, I don't have the exact numbers, but there's thousands and thousands of lake houses globally. And these sort of target end buyers, they've got deep pockets. I think that's something important to bear in mind as well. It's like, how much wealth and disposable income does your target buyer have? And I think for this as sort of a flex name within those circles, I think, you know, these are really affluent circles. So there's definitely the potential for a big sale there. But another angle on this that I really like and I find interesting is, you know, we hear this idea of digital real estate and different people talking about ENS domains, digital real estate, things like that. But this one really stands out to me in that regard, because, you know, you've got all these different companies, you've got Bored Ape Yacht Club and all these different companies building metaverses and different digital realms. But, you know, like, this is almost like having lakehouse.eth is almost to some degree like owning Lakehouse in a digital world. How many digital spaces are there going to be with like massive buildings and houses that are so going for crazy money in the future? And obviously it doesn't have to be Bored Ape Yacht Club's metaverse. You know, as things grow out into the future, I think there's a lot of scope for someone to really want to own this as almost like digital real estate, to own the name Lake House, and for Lake House to be a real sort of digital place. That's one reason I really like this name as well. But yeah, Captain, thoughts on this one, Lake House?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I like the I very much like the avatar. And I think that people who do that for those domains don't get enough credit when they add a nice one in there. Let's not forget Lake House, unbelievable movie with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. So everyone knows that I joke about Sandra Bullock often. But I think you nailed it between the metaverse discussion and, again, another really solid reserve at 0.79. So I think we found ourselves with some really solid domains for some solid prices. I do like pointing out that the Lake House is a house situated by the lake. I was confused about that, so I appreciate the insight on that one.
No problem, Captain. No problem. I can tell you joking, but yeah, I think, like you said, I think that there's room, like, not financial advice again, but, you know, I think there's room for profit there, room for a flipper. I really like that name. I think it's a really nice one. So yeah, like the other names, you know, lakehouse.eth. If you want to bid, ENS Vision, place a bid. There's a reserve at 0.79 Ethereum. It's going to run for 7 days. In 7 days' time, the auction will end, and the highest bidder will win the name. With that being said, we'll go on to our next item of today. And the seller described this one to me as a Swiss Army knife of ENS, Swiss Army knife of a name, and I completely agree. This is such a versatile name. So this is pole.eth. So pole.eth. The reserve on this one is 0.95. But I just think that there's so many different types of poles in terms of, you've got the whole pole dancing industry, which has seen massive growth in the last sort of 10 years or so. You've got the pole position within Formula One and racing, you know, to be on the front of the track. And I think this can lend itself to sort of gaming and scoreboard potential applications within Web3. You've got north.pole, south.pole, that whole sort of Christmas market within the pole name as well. There's a lot of connotations to Christmas that could be associated there. And then finally, sort of in a physics sense, you've got magnetic poles and poles in that sort of idea. So for me, when there's a name that's very versatile and can be applied to a lot of different industries, then for me that signals one thing, and that is competition. Like, you've got this one name and there's only one of this name, and you know it can be applied to all these different sectors to be a strong case. So yeah, I really like Paul. Thoughts on Paul, Captain?
And again, we had OFC, a 3-letter with 0 reserve and several months remaining. Here we have a 4-letter for a 0.95 ETH reserve that still has a full year on it. Doesn't expire until March 2024. So these are unique buying opportunities for people who want to have those, you know, short. Everyone talks about that, right? What do you want to buy? I want to buy names. I want to buy short, you know, statement words and a digit, whatever you want to buy. But people make an emphasis on those short, you know, statement words, and I think this is as good as any, given that you still do have, you know, another full year of registration on this one until March 2024. I think those first couple of categories you got there with the dancing and the racing are probably your leading uses, but either way, great domain, great price.
Yeah, completely. And sort of the SD bot for the .com appraisal of this one. Obviously, it's difficult to get ENS appraisals at this time, but the .com for this one is 570,000. So, you know, not a million miles away from airline. So this is seen as a quality name by that metric anyway. As well, we've got, in terms of broad searches, you've got 30 million monthly broad searches of this name, with a cost per click of $1.09. So definitely sought after, and I think a strong, versatile name, like we've said. So yeah, you can feel free, bid on this one. Got 7 days, starting off as 0.95 reserve. So yeah, really excited and happy to have this one in our auction. So yeah, amazing. Without further ado, item number six. Oh, this is a great name as well. In fact, this is an obscene name in my opinion, an absolute banger. This is scene.eth, scene.eth, and it's got a 1 Ethereum reserve, and I think that's more than generous by the seller of this name. I think there's definitely scope for this name to potentially be sold a lot higher. Again, you've got a lot of different sectors that this name falls into. You've got the whole movie industry of sort of movie scenes and different scenes and cuts and takes from a show. You've got the whole sort of photography scene, and then even from my personal background in my day job, I work a lot in AI and image processing, and so many computer nerds will refer to the image as the scene all the time, as the object moves in the scene, as the scene changes. So it's definitely a very fundamental word, and I really like it. What are your thoughts on this one, Captain?
I love it, and I loved it before your energy for how much you love it. Like I know you were very, very into this one. So I think that, again, it's just like way too much to be able to do with some of these short, clean names that we have. And this one of those short, clean names, ends up being a 5-letter as well. So you can avoid the more costly registration fees. I very much like it especially for arts and tech and design and all that stuff, and being able to do so many different things with it for only a 1 ETH reserve. So that's not out of line with what these short, clean types of words that they've gone for. So I'm interested to see how this one does.
Yeah, me too. Very interested. And I think sometimes as well, like, you can get caught up with all the different use cases. And I started realizing this the other day, that some words are just nice words. Like, some words they just sound nice and look nice. And for me, scene's one of those words. We've got contemporary later on, and that's another similar word. But yeah, massive variety of use cases. Really highly estimated by SDBot again. This is $707,000, so right up there with airline. It's got 25 million monthly searches and a cost per click of $1.4. So yeah, great name, very fair reserve in my opinion. We've already got.
You want to really make sure that we're talking about the 5-letter word scene, SCENE, and not the 4-letter SEEN. We're talking about scene, the 5-letter. Yes, go ahead.
That's a very, 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 very good point. Yeah, so I'd urge anyone, if you'd like to follow on, I've got some visuals on a YouTube live stream. If you want to come and see me live in the flesh, then there's a link above there that you can use, and adds a bit more context to some of the stuff we're saying here. But great point. This is not as I have seen something. This is like crime scene or movie scene. Great point. Item number seven. We've got for you another 1 Ethereum reserve and another really clean, simple, single word, which in some senses is a bit of a category killer. This is procure.eth. So procure.eth. So if people don't know, procurement is the sort of the process of sourcing and acquiring goods and services. For me, it's a critical sort of supply chain related term. I really like it. I like the fact as well that with the .eth, you're almost like procuring ETH, like you sourcing ETH. Maybe there's some play on words down the road with that as well. But yeah, estimated highly again, $125,000, 300,000 monthly searches, $2.40 cost per click, which is one of the highest ones. So for this category, if you wanna pay to get views, then you're gonna have to pay a higher amount per click to get viewers, to get people to click on related terms to procure. So yeah, really excited about this one. Captain, what are your thoughts on this one? Do you like procure?
I like procure. I'll say I don't love it, but I do like procure. I like what people who would be using it for would be able to use it for the statement of being able to secure, buy, sell, bring items in, like you mentioned, supply chain. So I think the functionality of it is awesome. So that alone would, yeah, again, with a 1 ETH reserve for a functional word. So I think that these words are selling themselves at these opportunities. Not to say that someone would necessarily, but there are good opportunities here to get in on these names at good prices, as we're seeing here. So that's really great stuff. And you're doing a great job so far, Post, by the way. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, Captain. Yeah, likewise. Yeah, we're getting through it. And we're going to be changing the pace in a minute as well. If people have been forgetting, we're nearly hitting that midpoint of a live audience shill. So yeah, we'll keep pushing on, and we'll change the pace in a second. So item number 8. I apologise. Item number 8 of our auction today. We've got a really nice sort of palindrome 3-letter ENS word, which is CPC.ETH. The reserve on this one is 1.65 Ethereum, and yeah, the biggest sort of big pro for me on this one is the whole cost per click being one of the most important metrics for evaluating Web 2 domains, and this being, I mean, you could have cost per click, the full word .eth, but it's quite long, and I just think that this CPC is so very clear for that, and it could also lead you on to the idea of another abbreviation being cost per coin, and maybe this could be a site where it gives you analytics of different coin prices. Obviously, we know how important and crucial coins are to the whole ENS. We're built on cryptocurrency, so yeah, I think this is a really nice word, 3-letter palindrome. The SD bot on this one gives it super high again, like talking $210,000. So like these, even in the .com world, like this is seen as a really high tier domain name. And again, this is another one with a 242 cost per click. So it's right up there with Procure in being a very highly sought after word by advertisers in that sense. So yeah, Captain, CPC, what are your thoughts on this one?
I was wondering why we were seeing so much about cost per click on these slides on YouTube over here. Very clever, sir. Very clever. And on top of everything else, like you mentioned, it's a 3-letter palindrome, and we saw the 3-letter palindromes on their own without any meaning, right? Were selling way over 1 ETH during the height of the ENS bull run. So being able to secure one, a 3-letter palindrome with meaning at this point is a great opportunity in my opinion. I like the idea of cost per click. I like the idea of being able to use a potentially certified professional coder. I know that's more of a medical term, but as coding becomes more prevalent in Web3, I think there's an opportunity there as well. 1 month left on this one, so there's still a little bit of registration, and then there's the chance to find the use of someone who's going to be using it for cost per click, or there's the speculation, like we said, with the 3-letter palindrome, which I do like. I think it's visually aesthetic as well. So congrats to the seller for bringing it to us, and we're excited about this one.
Yeah, completely agree. Glad you noticed all the cost per click references, and yeah, I think this is a really nice name. And it's like one of those that the sky could potentially be the limit again. It's if it falls into the right buyer, the right end buyer down the line, then you could be talking orders of magnitude higher for a sale price. So I think there's definitely some opportunity for speculators on this one. And then yeah, so that brings us halfway through the names that we've got for the auction. So we've got another 8 really fire names coming up soon. But I just want to take this time now. This is going to be community shill. So I tried to explain it at the start. Anyone right now has the opportunity to request to come up on stage and pitch one of their ENS names. So you can pitch a name at any price, whatever you'd like to pitch. We're going to do about 5, 6, 7, 8 different people, but you're going to be limited to 30 seconds max. So it's going to be pitch, 30 seconds. You're going to have the opportunity for everyone in here to hear that name, and also the best value name, in our opinion, mine and Captain's opinion, from that group. If it's less than 0.05 Ethereum, then we're going to buy the best value for money that's less than 0.05. So we'll see if anyone requests. We've got a couple coming up now.
Yeah, we'll bring you guys up, give you a shot. It doesn't have to be something for 0.05. It could be something for more than that. But the best name that is in that range, we're gonna snatch off the streets. So we've got our first picture up here. Howdy.eth, what's happening? Are you ready for your 30 seconds?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Hopefully I picked up some skills from ENS over here. So, hey guys, I wanted to show artificial ETH. It's short for artificial intelligence. We brought up automation earlier, and I'm sure everyone's heard of ChatGPT. So, artificial int.eth. I have it listed for 0.3. Thank you guys. Appreciate the auction.
And I want to clarify that's artificial ARTIFICIALINT.eth. The first three letters of intelligence.
Yes, sir.
For 0.3.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Awesome, Howie. Thanks for coming up, brother. Appreciate it. We've got another one coming now. I've got the countdown music ready this time, so you'll have a full 30 seconds. So anyone, feel free to request to come up on stage now. This is going to be your sort of one opportunity in the middle of the auction, and then we'll do this at the end again. The hedgehog. How you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me up here. Thank you.
No problem. Have you got your name ready? I've got my 30-second countdown ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'll be quick. All right, I got here finest beer body for 0.3. Finest beer.
And what is the finest beer?
Oh man, that's a tough one, bro. I guess it depends on the end user, right? I guess you can supplement it. You can put Corona on finest beer, right?
I'm a nose thank myself, and I appreciate you bringing it up on stage, and thanks for the show.
Hey, thank you guys.
Yeah, cheers, Hedgehog. Thanks for that one. It's a nice name. Any more for any more? Anyone likes? I know everyone's desperate to shill the names. I see people pitching all day, every day. You know, feel free to come up on stage now, give a little pitch, and then we'll get this auction moving again. Got another request here. Bring you up, Gary.
Good afternoon, Mr. Palmer.
Hey everybody, I don't know why people are raising their hand. I know you guys got stuff to show.
Yeah,
you guys got good stuff. You guys got bad stuff.
Yeah, they're flying in right now.
Yeah, they're buying. Right now they're like listening to all the keywords we're saying. They're buying. So I just thought I'd raise my hand. I'll show something for the sake of showing. That's what it's all about.
What do you got for us?
You gonna go?
Yeah.
Go away, Gary. Thank you. 30 seconds. Go.
We have preschooler.eth. So much potential. You can make a website, IPFS, affiliate site, whatever you want, link to supplies, link to educational programs, get monthly memberships, sell subdomains, mykid.preschooler, Atlanta.preschooler, Mikey.preschooler, thirdgrade.preschooler. This is a moneymaker, a service provider. This is products. This is for teachers. This is for administrators. This is for parents. This is for kids. We're looking for about $49.97 USDC or some sort of equivalent.
And time. Awesome, Gary. Awesome.
The decimal point is at the end there, yes?
Yes.
Of course. Perfect. 4997 USDC. For preschooler.eth, what do you think, host?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was on the Shark Tank when Gary pitched this, and Jimmy was super excited. I do think it is a category killer to some extent within that niche, and you know, it's probably a massive market. I can't see the direct sort of Web3 application straight away, but yeah, it's a strong name for sure. I could check what it sells in the .com appraisal, but yeah, it's a very nice name, Gary, and appreciating you come up to pitch that name.
Check that cost per click too, because anything dealing with education is it's the future. You don't want every kid, you have a Web3 smart contract app where they're going to learn their math at preschooler.eth.
1000%.
I'll be posting all the community shows as well in one tweet from the ZZC account after we're done getting through these people posts.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, that sounds great. If people are coming up and engaging and supporting what we're doing, then let's make sure they get the exposure they deserve. So, yeah, thanks, Gary. Appreciate you coming up. Got a couple more here. We'll do the last people that are on stage, and then we'll keep this auction rolling. I think it was SSJ that got onto the stage first. So 30 seconds, brother. Fire away. Off you go.
All right, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Alright, the name I'm going to show is a fandom name, and it's going to be SSJ Trunks. So if you don't know what SSJ is, it's the Super Saiyan equivalent, so it's canon in the Dragon Ball Z universe. I think this is a really clean fandom name, and I think a lot of people really love Trunks as a Dragon Ball Z character. I think Dragon Ball Z as a whole in ENS is just getting slept on, just completely slept on. And a lot of other fandoms are being slept on as well, but as we've heard, Pokemon is getting into Web3 gaming, and I think fandom names as a whole is on a rise.
And time. Yeah, awesome name.
Did we get a price in there?
Price, yeah.
Sorry, 0.75.
0.75 ETH. Thank you, sir.
Awesome,
Nice
awesome.
fandom name in here.
What wallet can they find that name in, SSJ?
You would find it in my iControl.eth wallet.
iControl, awesome. And appreciate you coming up on stage today, brother. We'll keep it moving. Thank you very much.
Right on. Thank you for having me.
Shabba, you are up to bat next, sir. Do you have a good name for us today? You've got a 30-second pitch. Pitch it to everyone in this audience.
Yeah, man. Thanks
well,
for the opportunity.
No problem.
Are we limited to one?
One name, 30 seconds, and go.
I got cheetahs.eth, the plural form of cheetah. So I think that this is, very, you can do a lot with this name. There's a lot of applications to it. Obviously, animals in the NFT communities are a big thing. And I have it listed for 2.5 ETH. If you're somebody I like, I'd entertain, giving you 15% discount on that. And, that's what I got to shield today.
Awesome, Shabba. Appreciate you coming up, mate. Appreciate it.
A ruthless businessman to the end, Shabbat.
Yeah, I hope I get that 15%. I hope I'm a friend that gets the 15. But no, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The Messiah, last one, and then we'll proceed ahead. Thank you for coming up today. 30 seconds. Off you go, my friend. Starting now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hey, so I got contestant.eth. I have it listed very high at 22.22 ETH, but I am open to offers. Just think about every game show that you ever seen in your life, ever will see, has contestants in it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Completely agree. That's a great name, brother. I really like it. I was tempted to put it in for this auction. I did really like that name. The 25 ETH was a little bit on the higher side for me, but like you said, if there's someone interested in that name in here, then send the Messiah an offer. If it's a name that you like, then send an offer his way. So appreciate you coming up on stage today, brother. And without further ado, we'll proceed on with our remaining names. So we've had some absolute bangers here so far. Been really excited. As a quick sort of recap, we have got, so item number 1 was OFC, which is the abbreviation of course, and that's at no reserve. Item number 2, statements.eth, that's at a 0.5 ETH reserve. Item number 3, airline.eth, which is at a 3 ETH reserve. Item number 4, we've got lakehouse.eth, which was at a 0.79 ETH reserve. Item number 5, we've got for you pole.eth, and that was at a 0.95 reserve. Item 6 is scene, like movie scene or crime scene, and that's at a 1 ETH reserve. I really like that name. Item 7, we've got procure, supply chain category killer, that's a 1 ETH reserve. And item number 8, we've got a cost per click, we've got a CPC.eth, and that's at a 1.65 ETH reserve. And that brings us up to date. So item number 9 of our new items. So we've got about eight or 9 items left to discuss. But this is Francine.eth. So Francine.eth, spelled Francine. So I think we're all aware that obviously we talk about digital identity a lot, and that word gets thrown around all the time. But you know, at the end of the day, like owning your first name or your surname, like that is like digital. You're owning that digital identity. So I think it's going to be very hard to argue against first names. So this is a female first name, but also another kind of interesting aspect of this name, which I like, is that it's the name of Francine from American Dad. So you've got that whole fandom character aspect. In terms of this name could even be built out as a sort of Twitter alias. We've seen how well Fry has used his name and how influential he is in the space. I think this is also another name which lends itself to being a very good Twitter alias. In terms of sort of forebear statistics, there's 550,000 people which bear this as a first name, and it's the 1,817th most common first name in the world. So you know, for a first name of that caliber with the fandom relation, I mean, yes, you may be able to get a name which is slightly more common at a cheaper price potentially, but I think the whole fandom aspect of this is a great addition to this name. So it's one that I really like. Captain, thoughts on Francine.eth?
No, I'm actually with you on this. I think the fandom aspect of American Dad is great. I love American Dad. I think Francine's like an iconic character on the show. And independently, I think it's still like a clearly identifiable female first name. And first names are all one of ones in ENS. And I think that, being able to secure any legitimately used first name for under a full Ethereum is pretty good. And then you add the fandom aspect, like you mentioned. People have been able to really take fandom names and run with them and make it, a personality in the metaverse and on Twitter and stuff. And I think this is a good entry to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it's a dope name. And we talk about women in the Web3 space, like I'd absolutely love for someone to pick up this name and be using it as a Twitter alias. I think it would be a great character to do that with. So yeah, 0.75 Ethereum is the reserve on this one. And I think there's definitely wiggle room there for a speculator to come in and potentially flip that for some profit. So another name that we're really excited to have in this auction. We're going to move to item number 10. So this is another first name, and I was actually shocked with this one, Captain, because this is a very, very popular name in the UK. I was surprised at how it's not as popular outside of the UK. It's Clive.eth. So Clive.eth. It's got a 2.85 reserve. Like a lot of these first names, you need the sort of target buyer, the end buyer who is called Clive, but you've got multiple people with deep pockets with that who bear that first name. So definitely potential there. One thing that I do really like about this name, actually, compared to some other first names and other names, is for me there's absolutely zero abbreviations or variations of this name. You can't spell Clive any other way. You can't abbreviate it any other way. Like Clive is Clive. So yeah, I really like the name Clive. I've got a friend that's called Clive. 1 in every 500 to 1,000 people in the UK are called Clive, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, Captain, thoughts on this first name?
I love it. And there's also people who are prevalent in Web3 with that name. I mean, there's a couple of big ape holders and various other people with that name. And plus it's also, I think it's kind of like an iconic name, just like the, Clive. It's just a very, very cool name to be able to go by, and especially if it is your true name that your own name. There's also tons of actors and everybody who are named Clive O, and all these other ones. And I think the fact that it's 5 characters as well is even an added bonus, because you avoid the costly yearly registration. So great name, very much on board. But you're right. You are right. It's a little less prevalent in the U.S., but it's not non-existent here. It's definitely a name that is clearly identifiable.
Awesome. Yeah, great points, Captain. Completely agree. 5-letter is a great added bonus. And I've been reaching out to some people as well on the behind the scenes. Some of these first names, it's It's just about getting the target buyers. So we'll make sure that there's some wealthy Clives that are aware that this name's up for auction before the auction comes to its conclusion. With that being said, we now move on to item number 11. That we've got for you today. This is the word contemporary. So, like we said before, this is a word that I just think is a really nice word. So, contemporary. The reserve on this one is 1.75 Ethereum. The definition of contemporary is existing or happening now and therefore seeming modern. And I think that was part of the reason why contemporary became such a big buzzword in the whole design world. You know, you hear contemporary design everywhere. Everyone wants things to look contemporary. There was a real sort of push and buzz around that kind of word. And then even in a Web3 sense, to try and link it back again, is like, you know, we've got a lot of people out here who are designers, who are world builders, who, you know, are actually building things in the metaverse. So I think this could be a really nice sort of name for someone who was thoughtful with the design and was building things in the metaverse. Go ahead, Captain. What are your thoughts on this one?
Almost exactly word for word what you said on this one. The metaverse design, metaverse home, a contemporary home in the metaverse, however you wanted to look at it. You absolutely nailed it, and that's exactly what this one is. Now, as someone who is a fan of double-digit letter names, Captain America, I don't have a problem with contemporary being 12 characters. I know some people would maybe have an issue with the lengthier name, but I certainly do not. So, especially with the word that isn't a confusing spelling. There's not really many ways to confuse spelling contemporary. So, I think it's a great name.
Yeah, completely. And the SDBot, the .com appraiser, would agree with you. Like, this is, even though it's a 12 character name, like, we're getting an evaluation here of $258,000 for the .com. It's still 4 million monthly searches and a cost per click of $1.50. So, even though it is a 12-letter word, we're seeing evaluations very similar to some of our shorter words that we had from before, sort of poll and scene, and even way above statements and things like that. So I think it's a very nice word.
Agreed.
And with that, we now move on to item number 12. So I think this one, to some degree, speaks for itself. Like, you don't have to be a genius to work out this name. This is buyers.eth. Okay, so buyers.eth. And crazy low reserve here, in my opinion. This has got a 1.75 Ethereum reserve. I've got a great meme from Fry on the graphics, if anyone's on the YouTube live. It's just showing the world burning and looking for buyers of buyers.eth. But I also think this actually has quite a strong use case within the Web3 Ethereum world, because I think that I think this could potentially be the perfect identity name for sort of a DAO or a group that was to come together who were going to be buying and speculating on ENS names. They wanted to create a portfolio together. Like, what better name to identify that group than buyers.eth? Like, I think it's got a real selling use case there. And then the cost per click on this one, $4 cost per click, absolutely crazy on that CPC. So really nice name. What are your thoughts on this one, Captain?
So of all of our names, and we have some really good ones, really good reserve prices, this is the one that I'm actually most excited to see where it ends up. I wonder if it ends up, with someone in the community. I wonder if it ends up with a new buyer, new buyers.eth. I'm really, really curious to see where this one ends up. Like, who is the person to actually jump up and make this purchase? Because, like you pointed, this is another very fair reserve price. We have seen, not a lot of names of this quality go, and they end up going for much higher too. So this is very definitely a quality reserve for a really, really quality name. And I'm very, very excited to see who the buyer is, just for my own little nosiness. I'm very, very excited.
Oh, completely agree. Like, when this is one of our clients' names, and like when this name got announced and it was 1.75 Ethereum reserve, I had to do a quick double take, because I thought this would be fairly higher in my opinion. So yeah, I think there's definitely room for speculators to make profit on this one. Not financial advice, of course, but yeah, very strong name and does what it says on the tin. Clean, easy to understand. So yeah, very strong name. Starting at 1.75 Ethereum reserve. Like all of our names, you can bid for the next 7 days. We will have a similar style show to conclude the auction next Sunday. So this is buyers.eth at 1.75 ETH reserve. And that brings us on to our next item. Okay, this is a community name. I do like this one. This is flap.eth. Okay, flap.eth. And it's got a 0.65 Ethereum reserve. And you might be saying now, Post, why do you like this name? And well, first off, it's clean, it's easy to spell. I mean, it's impossible to misspell pretty much. But also, like, I just feel like there's so many bird type NFT projects and like bird related things going on in crypto. You know, you've got like moonbirds and pudgy penguins and sappy seals. And I just think that this could be a really strong Twitter alias. It's like when anyone makes a new Twitter account, you come on Twitter and you're like, oh, what should my name even be? And I think flap.eth is quite a nice Twitter alias for someone to own as their digital identity. You've also got all the relation of Bird with kind of Twitter itself and the Bird app, and the idea of crypto payments potentially coming into Twitter and that type of integration. So yeah, this is flap.eth at 0.65 ETH reserve. What are your thoughts on this one, Captain?
I think what you said is great. I think this is like one of those names where it could end up being related to tech or coins or something at some point. It's just like too short and clean of a word to not be used in that regard yet. So I think there's a possibility here for buying at a quality price and still seeing something great happen with this name outside of the fact that it's a short, great name on its own. And the other one still has another 6 months left. So another 4 character with another 6 months left in the tank. So you get a little bit of extra value with that as well. And I think this is a great one. For what was it? You said 0.65? I mean, yes. I think that's a great name for a great price.
Yeah, completely, Captain. I was the same when I was sort of thinking about it at the start. I was like, oh, it's a clean single word. But then the more I started to think about it and just how many different sort of bird-related NFT projects and things, it's like you're saying, who knows, there could be a flap token or something. If Sappy Seals or, if Pudgy Penguins, I don't know exactly the names of the tokens and things like that right now, but you've got so much bird-related context within the whole of this space that I think it's a deceptively strong name, this one. So yeah, happy to have it in the auction.
The Seals do have their own native token, but you're absolutely right about that. It's somehow being, especially like Flappy Bird is like an iconic game from before. And if people are somehow able to, I know our own Satoshi.test account was doing some fun things with Flappy Bird, or trying to do some fun things with Flappy Bird onto an NFT. So I mean, it's so early with what people could be able to do with that word. I agree.
Completely. And we've not even touched on like the actual like real world sort of Web 2 uses of this word, which obviously they've got all those uses there. I mean, they're pretty sort of, we won't get into them all now because I feel like we've covered this name well, but all the different flaps that exist in the Web 2 world. Like obviously if someone decides to take on this name and brand themselves as that digital identity, then like every ENS name, it's a one of one. So really nice name, and I like this one. And yeah, that brings us on to item number 14 that we've got for you today. So item number 14 that we've got for you is witchhunt.eth. So that's witchhunt.eth. This name's got a reserve of 2 Ethereum. Some of the points that I've got on this one, firstly, like the Halloween market is absolutely huge. I could definitely see some Web3 related Halloween type content and projects as the space continues to grow. And then also witch hunt is kind of an age-old term. There's a lot. It's very I mean, witches back in like the UK, it's such an old sort of concept from very early sort of times that it's a very sort of coined age-old term. And for me, this sort of name really lends itself to the idea of gamification. So, you know, the whole idea of witch hunt or going on a witch hunt, if you were to build a Halloween-related Web3 game, like we've seen the MetaMask now having that SDK for gamers with Unity, so people can start building out games now that they can log into the MetaMask. So I think this has a strong potential for gamification in that regard. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts also on this one, Captain.
Yeah, I think besides the gamification use and, you know, the historical use and everything like that, I think in uncharted area here, and, you know, no one really likes to talk politics, but both sides of the political equation very much like to say that if something is going against them, that, oh, you know, this is a witch hunt, and I think that there's, you know, another use potentially there as well, like for, you know, someone who was maybe involved politically or involved in, like, you know, trying to fight back against perceived injustices on either side or whatever. I think there's a possibility there as something to rally behind as well, so that could be kind of fun. To try to use it for that regard. I wasn't sure if that background that you had, that picture right there, was the avatar, but it looks like there's no avatar set, so I was going to say that's a nice clean witch in the moon there too. So you're doing some service for the buyer right there, or for the seller, excuse me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll have to send this one over to the seller for sure, or the buyer, sorry. But yeah, that's such a good point actually. The whole witch hunt of you know of it almost lends itself to this cancellation culture. You know, people are sort of witch hunted now. You know, maybe someone can build off that, use it for kind of to report on or give information on people that are unduly cancelled or things like that. But yeah, I think it's another name with great potential. Probably too many use cases is to mention, and, you know, definitely a really nice name for the end buyer. So yeah, I really like this one. So awesome. We're going to move on now. We're getting nearer to the end now, Captain. We're getting nearer to the end. So we've had only a couple left. We've got some of the names coming up are slightly lower reserve, but still some really strong names. So
did you want? I don't know if you want to announce that we're gonna do another small community show right at the end as well, right after we mention the subdomains. So there will be another chance for people to get up here and give a couple domains. And we are also likely to bring up a guest to possibly get some thoughts on those domains and maybe even be a buyer. So we'll have that coming for you in a few minutes as well.
Yeah, awesome. Completely agree. So if you're thinking about dropping off now, you know, stay on. Not that long. There's going to be another opportunity to chill. So yeah, really glad you said that, Captain. So we'll move on now to item number 15. So this item is Sentinel Prime. So Sentinel Prime for 0.35 Ethereum. So some people might be hearing this name and be like, what even is that? But, you know, this is a huge fandom name from within the Transformers world. In my opinion, this is the second most famous Prime of the whole sort of fandom series. And I just want to say that Optimus Prime, which some people this will sound like gibberish to if you're not familiar with Transformers, but I personally liked it when I was younger, and I think there's definitely fandom names are definitely beginning to shine, and I think they'll have the time in the future outside of Pokemon. Like, we're seeing this sort of Pokemon fandom at the moment, and I'm all for it, but I also think there's all these different niches of clubs, and I think Transformers is a fairly untapped one. And of Transformer fandom names, I think this is definitely one of the top 3 Transformer names. I would say the most premium name, which is Optimus Prime, that one has been in a whale's wallet and, you know, has not moved for the best part of 2.5 years. So that one's somewhat out of reach. But this one isn't. This one, 0.35 Ethereum reserve. You can bid on this one over the next 7 days. And then we'll have our following show the next Sunday. So this is Sentinel Prime. Would love to hear your thoughts on this one, Captain. Are you a Transformers guy yourself, or let me know?
Oh, absolutely. Who isn't a Transformers person? Anyone who says they're not a Transformers person is lying. Everyone loves Transformers. Maybe not, I don't know, Transformers 9, 10, 11, whatever number we're on now, but Transformers originally is iconic. And I think Sentinel Prime is a great name. For 0.35 is also even better. I agree that Optimus Prime is, the Grail's Grail, but this one, as we mentioned, is in. Hang on, I'm getting back up here. We had. Sorry, excuse me for one moment. My computer's froze. Sentinel Prime was one of the, is the, as far as I understand, like the direct, father figure or person who would have been, the one who Optimus Prime was descended from. So, and that's kind of just what I wanted to verify. But, and it's like a dope name too, independently of it actually being a real fandom name. It's actually like a really just dope name, like Sentinel Prime. Like that's just like a great name to operate with, especially for like a gamer tag. And there's still another 4 or 5 months on the registration, so another chance to get some baked in value there as well.
Great points there. Yeah, this is OG Transformers, like Sentinel Prime, like the name almost says it itself. So definitely fans of Transformers, I can see this name being very sought after. So yeah, completely agree with you on that, Captain. We'll move on to our next item, which is item number 16. So this one is a quad emoji. Okay. So this one is it's the speaking face. So I don't know if people remember when I used to do some of the Sunday auctions previously, like this was my auction emoji. Like, and the reason, like, I know that there's been some emojis coming off registration now that have been picked up fairly cheap, and there has been some good deals there. But one of the reasons that this particular emoji stood out to me so much was because of the fact that if you try and search for like speaking related emojis or anything like speaking or talking or streaming or live like this or Q&As or things of that nature, like there are no other emojis in my point of view that remotely represent that. So, we're seeing how big streaming platforms are growing, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, like there's so many different areas. And I think as emojis grow, people want to signal that these live events are happening. And I think that this is the emoji to do that. So, it's 0.15 reserve. So, about a $200 reserve. But I think it's a really nice emoji. And I think it's very valuable because of the reasons that I stated. Captain, what are your thoughts and opinions on this one?
Yep, that's it. As Twitter Spaces become more prevalent, as being able to connect with audiences becomes easier across all these various platforms, there's only so many various emojis and so many numbers of emojis, trips, quads, etc., quints, that are speaking or microphone related. And we do have the microphones, you have the speaker stand, and then you do have the speaker emoji, the shouting emoji, the announcement emoji. And I think 0.15 ETH reserve is totally fine for an emoji like this. I just bought 2 quad emojis, both for more than that. I don't know if that says anything about me or not, but this emoji does have a month left on registration, so it would require reinvesting a little bit into a 4 character. But I mean, it's clean. It's not one of those emojis that can have multiple shades, multiple purposes. It's clearly identifiable, and I do like it.
Perfect. Yeah, I completely agree. I actually really like this one. Half tempted to try and bid. I don't know. Can I even bid on some of these names? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to, really. I've probably got to be impartial, but this one's definitely caught my eye. So yeah, this.
I hope that's not the case because I'm currently winning for OFC.ETH. So.
Oh really?
It's very early, obviously, for no reserve on that, but I am currently winning that one. So we'll see how it goes.
No, that's awesome, Captain. Well, it still stands from before, you're the first person to bid on that name, so I'll be sending you a name over for sure.
No, I was not the first person. I'm the third person to bid.
Third person, awesome. Well, after this, whoever was the first person to bid on that name, if you've not sent me a DM already, send me one after this auction, and I'll find you a nice sort of 2-word utility name that's not trash from my collection and just send it you for free, just for starting the bidding off on that one. So, kudos to you. Yeah, we're approaching some of our later items now, but what we've got for you here is these are going to be interesting. So we've got some subdomains for you today, as we said at the start. But we've got some really nice, really premium subdomains. So we've got spider.web.eth. So this name's going to be starting off with a $10 reserve, okay, in Ethereum. So this one's going to start off as low as $10, and it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up, because there's going to be a bit of price discovery for everyone in this space on these sort of subdomain names, because obviously the subdomain wrapper's sort of incoming soon, and it'll be interesting to see what these go for. So we've got spider.web.eth, and we've got heart-emoji.email.eth. And these are both starting off at a $10 reserve. I have got... so this is what we said at the start. These are going to have to work slightly differently. Because of the fact you can't actually place bids on subdomains right now. So I've got there's two ENS names, and I'll link them to both my page and the ZZC page after this. But essentially we've registered two placeholder ENS names. So we've got bid on this for spiderweb.eth, and there's bid on this for loveheartemoji.eth. So I'll link those to everyone after this, so you're bidding on the correct name. But yeah, if you'd like to place a bid on these subdomains, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Obviously, $10 is dirt cheap, especially for sort of spider.web.eth. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Do you have any thoughts on these subdomains, Captain?
Well, I love spider.web.eth. I'm sorry, I love that one. That is just so sick. I think spiderweb.eth without the subdomain is already great, and spider.web.eth is very clean, very sick, and I do like the graphic, obviously. So I think that's a great domain. Reiterating for your YouTube watchers that we're doing the regular heart emoji, not the flaming heart emoji. But outside that, I love all of these subdomains. I got myself an email subdomain already, and I'm very bullish on the clean short subdomains for that category for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I completely agree. And then now we've even got we've got another subdomain which we might try and live auction off right now in this space. So if people have ever attended some of my former auctions, that's how we used to sell all the names. We used to invite people up onto the stage to bid. But I think we're going to give it a try now and see how it goes. So this is for the subdomain of boss.email.eth. So we're going to bid in dollars just to keep it easier, and then we're going to convert it after the show. So we're going to start off the bidding at $10. We're going to go up in increments of $5. And essentially to bid, you're just going to request to come up onto the stage, and we're just going to do the bidding verbally. So if you'd like to bid on this name, request to come up on stage now and come say hello. We're going to start the bidding off at $10. This is where we get tumbleweeds, Captain, and everyone's like, shh. But yeah, come on, people. Surely.
Okay.
If we get...
You can tell everyone that as part of that, we are going to do a community shill as well, so we can invite some people on the stage first to kind of kick that off. So if anybody is going to be interested in one last round of community shill to be able to get your names announced in this space and then retweeted by our account, please come up onto the stage. Let's get your names pitched, and let's also see if we can do this live auction for boss.email. I don't want to have to bid myself, but I mean, I will.
I'll bid with you, Captain. If it's just me and you, we'll have to have a bidding war, because I want that for $10. Yeah, so as Captain said, feel free to request to come up on stage now. You can pitch any name, any price. In fact, if there's a decent one that's below 0.05 Ethereum, then the ZZC Group will buy it right now to use in future giveaways. So, Ghost T, thank you for joining us, sir. Going to keep it to 30 seconds, and your time to shill and pitch your name starts now.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought I was bidding on the boss.email.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. We kind of mashed two different things together then, so I apologize.
I don't know where to start. I've got a shit ton of ENSs, man. Can I fall back?
Start at $10. You can just bid $10. No, you can bid $10 on the boss.email.
Yeah, let me do that. I'll give you a first bid on that, $10. Yeah.
Great. The way we'll do it is right now you can come up and pitch your name. If you want to be someone to bid on the name as well, you can do so. Currently, the highest bid for boss.email.eth is $10 by ghosttrapper.eth. You can come up and pitch your name or add yourself to that bid. So thank you for the bid, sir. And if you do want to come back and drop a name on us, we're more than welcome to take it.
Okay, let me look at my portfolio and see which one I want to get.
Nice. Meownik, what's going on?
Hey guys, what's up everyone? Happy Sunday to you guys. So I want to pitch the main traded award ZAR ZAR. So ZAR is an abbreviation for South African rand, like the currency for South Africa and a bunch of other countries use ZAR, and ZAR is also listed Binance, we have the ZAR BTC and other platforms like a trading pair. And the cool thing about it is that ZAR is also a name, right? On Forbes.io, you can see ZAR is around 2.
10 seconds left. 10 seconds left, go.
Sorry?
10 seconds left, keep going.
2,486 in the rank for ZAR. ZAR. So yeah, it's a cool name for a country, currency names, company names, bunch of other utilities for it. So this is it on ENS Vision 2.8. I'm open to offers for it. Thank you.
And how do you spell it?
ZAR. ZAR.
Beautiful. Thank you, Meownik.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming up to pitch. Any more? This is going to be your last chance to shill a name today. So if you'd like to do so, please request to come up on stage now. We've got Fast Forward joining. Can pitch us any name, one of your more premium names, a name you're trying to sell, a name you just want exposure for. Come up here and just say, I own this name and I think it's a cool name. Whatever, this is your chance to do that. Fast Forward, 30 seconds, over to you. Time starts now.
Hello. Congrats on the first show. It's awesome. I'm sure it's one for the history books because there will be so many more. I listed nocompromise.eth for 0.2 because I believe in the future meaningful, nondescript ENS will become important, especially if you want to use it for something where you want to disguise your identity. So basically a meaningful name, which is a bit of a meme, will become quite desirable. So nocompromise.eth for 0.2. And keep on rocking. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you so much, Fast Forward. I really like that name. I really like that name, and it's what we're about at ZZC. No compromise. We're striving for excellence. So I think that it's a really great name, and that was a really kind message, and I appreciate you coming up to speak with us today. Thank you. BQZ, how are you doing? This is your chance to pitch whatever name you would like. You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
Alright, bet. Yeah, so I got glisten.eth, so it's just plain and simple. You look it up on Google, it comes up, it's a dictionary word, so yeah, so I just want ETH for it, so yeah, just putting that out there. That's glisten.eth. But I don't know what should I do, post it in the bottom or some shit. But yeah.
I'll post it in a tweet shouting it out for you. You're welcome to comment it on the spaces below as well, but I'll definitely tag you in it, so no worries. Glisten, GLISTEN, glisten.eth?
Yeah.
Great, and he said a 1 ETH price, and it's got 4 years left on it, so very, very nice. And it's a pre-punk.
Yeah. So, appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming up and joining us today. That's a really nice name. Like Captain said, we'll put all those names into a post to get them the exposure they deserve. Ghost, I can see you've got your hand up, my friend. Go ahead.
I got one. I just wanted to let y'all know about. It's boardcto.eth. I have a lot of board names. I'm in the the Yuga community, so real heavy. So I have a shit ton of board names. I just wanted to throw that one out there. It's boardcto.eth.
Nice.
What's the asking price?
Any particular price?
I only want a quarter Ethereum for it right now. As time goes on, I probably don't want more as they get more rare. But I just think it was a good I'm just charging people for my creativity at this point.
Nice. Well, you're also about a minute away from potentially taking boss.email.eth. We got someone coming up here, and if they're not coming to snake that from you, then that'll be your domain, be your subdomain there. What's up, Braylon?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How are we doing today?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. I'm more than fantastic, honestly. I got so much good positive feedback from the song that just dropped today. So
Awesome, man. That's great to hear. That's great to hear.
yes, sir.
We've got to turn it over quite fast because we're coming up to near the end of the show. So I'll give you 30 seconds to pitch your name. Fire away, my friend. Let's hear it.
I got you. I just want to reintroduce GameRewards.eth to the community. I've been seeing a lot of ENS. Excuse me, I'm still exhausted, but I've been seeing a lot of NFT gaming projects pop up more and more on my timeline. It seems like I'm finding one every single day. So, we already know that when it comes to adoptions, games, the adult industry, all these things are going to be first. So, GameRewards.eth. I think it really speaks for itself. And I appreciate y'all giving me the time to pitch that.
No problem, my friend. No problem. Thank you for coming up.
Game rewards, not gaming. Game, GAME.
Yes, sir. Game Rewards.
And the asking price is still the 1.55 listed online.
I believe it is listed around that. It's either at 1.55 or 2.
Cool. Right on. Thanks, brother.
Awesome. Right, we'll go to Shabba, the last one. Appreciate you coming up, brother. Thanks for pitching that. So Shabba, the last one, and then we're going to do a quick live auction for this last name, and then we'll round it up and finish. Shabba, fire away.
I already showed that I was able to do another one. Actually, I'm happy to do another one, but I was going to bid like $15 for that boss.email.eth.
Let's go.
Awesome. How about this? I'll give you 30 seconds now. Pitch your name, and then we'll start the bidding on the boss.email if you're going to bid. So 30 seconds if you want to pitch the second name, and then we'll get into the auction, and off you go.
You guys were talking about some acronyms, IMO, and I'm not sure, I can't remember what the one you guys were selling earlier was, but I have one that I picked up about a month ago. I really like it. I use it often, and I see it used very often. It's TYSN.eth for thank you so much. I have that listed for 1.25. I take 0.99 for that today.
Nice, Shabba. That's a nice abbreviation for sure.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. Right then, should we do this? We'll do this live auction. We've got two, so let's do it. So for anyone that's not aware, boss.email.eth. Whoever is the highest bidder at the end of this bidding now live, you'll take that name. So our highest bid at the moment is Ghost T on $10, and then Shabba bid 15. Sorry. So Shabba, you're the highest bidder. So I'm going to open up to the room. Would anyone like boss.email.eth for $20? Ghost T.
I go 20.
20 to you, sir. Back over to you, Shabba. 25. Any interest?
Yeah, I'll do 25.
Okay, 25 to you. Back over to you, Ghost T. $30. What do you think?
I go 30.
30 to you, sir. Back over to you, Shabba. $35. No problem, my friend. No problem. Thank you for coming up on stage today. So I'll open it up to the floor one last time. So our highest bid's $30. So if you'd like this, boss.email.eth. If you'd like to bid $35, please request to come up on stage now or forever hold your peace. So Ghost T is the highest bidder on $30. Any more for any more? This name is going once. It's going twice. Boss.email.eth for $30 to Ghost T for a third and final time. And this name is sold. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Congrats, Ghost. Hey, I'm going to do something for Ghost Trapper. we're going to mint ghosttrapper.email.eth, and that's going to be free on us. So just DM post. We'll give you. I'll have ghosttrapper.email.eth registered for you as well, since you won the first subdomain auction. I appreciate it. So just contact ENS Trading Post afterwards. Just DM him, and we'll go through everything. Once the wrapper is out, we'll mint both subdomains, and then we'll have it sent to your address.
That's really generous, Cyril. Yeah,
and now I feel like a real loser.
Yeah, Shabby, you missed out, man. You missed out. Next time. There'll be more. We're going to mix in these live auctions as well. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming up to bid there, Ghost. Appreciate everyone coming up to pitch their names. There's going to be more opportunities to do that at further auctions. What I'd like to do now is just give a quick final recap of what auction names we've got, our main auction names that we've been going through today. So, we've got 7 days of bidding. So 7 days of bidding on these names, and then we're going to have a final show to conclude the auction. So, item number 1, again, OFC, which is the abbreviation of course. That's starting off at a no reserve. Item number 2, statements.eth. That's starting off at a 0.5 ETH reserve. Item number 3, Grail, airline.eth for 3 Ethereum reserve. Item number 4, lakehouse.eth for 0.79 ETH reserve. Item number 5, we've got pole.eth, the Swiss Army knife of names. That's starting off at 0.95 Ethereum. Item number 6, another name which I really like, is Scene, crime scene, movie scene, that type of scene, and that's starting off at 1 Ethereum reserve. Item number 7 that we've got for you, this is Procure, supply chain category killer, and it's starting off at a 1 ETH reserve. Item number 8, the cost per click, we've got CPC, and that's starting off at 1.65 Ethereum reserve. Item number 9, we've got American Dad, Francine.eth. So Francine.eth, American Dad fandom name, that's starting off at 0.75 ETH. Item number 10, very common first name in the UK, Clive.eth, no variations, does what it says on the tin. I love Clive.eth, I don't know why I've got an attachment to it. That's at 2.85 ETH reserve. Item number 11 is a really nice word, especially within the design world. This is contemporary.eth, and that's starting off at a 1.75 ETH reserve. Item number 12, I can't believe that this is being put on sale at this price, buyers.eth, and that's starting off at a 1.75 Ethereum reserve. Item number 13, as we said before with all the bird culture, this is flap.eth at 0.65 ETH reserve. Item 14, witch hunt, 2 ETH reserve. Item number 15, we've got the prime, we've got Sentinel Prime, the OG Prime. So this is Sentinel Prime, and that's starting off at 0.35 ETH reserve. And then item number 16, we've got the only speaking and streaming emoji. We've got the quad person speaking, and that's starting off at a 0.15 Ethereum reserve. And then finally, we've got those 2 subdomains. I'm going to put a post about this afterwards so you know exactly where to bid. But these are spider.web.eth and heartemoji.email.eth, and they're starting off at a $10 reserve. So that brings us through our listings for our first auction. So if you want to place a bid, go to ENS Vision. I'll put some links in a post after this so it's easy to find. But go to those names, place a wrapped ETH offer. If the reserve's met, we'll make sure it's accepted by the seller. The auction will run from 7 days from now. There'll be another show like this in 1 week's time to conclude the auction. And I'll be doing a daily post which is going to give a summary of the bids and action that's happened in the last 24 hours. So that's the plan, everyone. I hope you've had a good time today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've got a lot of really premium names here today, and I'd urge you to take a look at some of the names on offer. Appreciate your time, and any final words, Captain? You've been amazing today. Some great insights. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I'm going to use my time to spit it right back at you. It's like the exact same thing. very, very well done, well orchestrated, nice little bit of action at the end there too between Shabbat and Ghost Tracker. So that was kind of nice. And sorry, Shabbat, you didn't know you were gonna get an extra present. So next time we'll have to go harder in the auction. But we're really excited to bring you guys these names, and we're excited to see where these names end up a week from now. So we'll bring it back to you and hit it hard again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I would play some music now, but I'm just having a bit of issues with my music coming out of my PC. So, no time like the present. Don't need to listen to music. Let's call it a day. We're going to be back here in a week's time. I'm going to do these live reports. You're going to stay tuned in. There's going to be lots of information coming from the ZZC Group account. So if you haven't followed the ZZC Group account, then you must follow the ZZC account, because all of the auction-related information is going to be coming from there. I just want to say thank you for spending your Sunday with us, and just have an amazing week ahead. So thank you, everyone, and cheers.